What was that?
What?
I seen something fly through the air. It was small, like maybe it was a bug.
A bug?
Yeah,
In the middle of January?
that's what I'm thinking. It looked like that.
Just something, there was something black
Yeah.
that just flew past me because it was flew past my hand. I just saw
Yeah, it was small like a bug. See if we can be quiet. Put my headphones on. Hello? It's your friend. Can you come up to us?
What was it?
Shh.
That was my stomach.
Just try to be quiet. Can you hear me? Hello? Now what was that?
I heard that.
We hear you. Please don't run. Heard a woman wailing. Sounds like it's coming down that hallway. God damn it. I have to open up this locked door.
Somebody's there. out of your cell. I'd like to see you. What the fuck was that?
The season finale to Interface Death Reborn is set in Moundsville, West Virginia, a place of dark history, high strangeness, and haunted claims that litter the banks of the Ohio River, the home to one of the country's most haunted prisons, the site of one of the oldest and largest ancient burial mounds built by the ancient Adena culture that existed from 1000 to 200 BC. The Adena culture refers to what were probably a number of related Native American societies, sharing a burial complex and ceremonial system in the Ohio Valley area. It is not a coincidence to find paranormal phenomena around such ancient structures. Our quest to explain the paranormal has brought us to these sacred sites time and time again. Is it due to ley lines? Disturbed burial sites? Or does the land possess a supernatural quality that the Adena were aware of long before now? These questions shape our journey into the unknown as we visit many places of interest in Moundsville. Our main destination brings us back to the Sanford School, where Steve Hummel owns and operates a paranormal museum called the Archive of the Afterlife, a place that showcases historical and alleged haunted relics donated and collected by the owner. The school is reported to be haunted and was verified by the team in January 2018. Disembodied voices echo throughout the halls. Ominous corridors loom in shadow, and unexplained equipment failures are just a few examples of this retired school's many quirks. Ground zero for the high strangeness is found in Steve Hummel's Museum of Paranormal Relics. Since our last visit, the museum has grew twofold and has a darker, more active presence lurking among the dolls, trinkets, and macabre items that seem to fill every available space in the 2 classrooms of the Sanford School. The high strangeness we experience upon our return leaves more questions as to what is happening. The why is clear. Steve's interest in studying the phenomena of haunted relics is well documented, but what has emerged from this obsession with the paranormal? This is for you to ponder with us.
Well, first of all, I've always liked collecting things, and once I started to be in paranormal research, I would just come across random items that sparked my interest, that I felt connected to, or some items that people no longer wanted in their homes or their businesses. What got me into collecting haunted items, different things like that, basically stemmed from me being involved in paranormal research, and it started with my friends Dave and Ryan. We all met while we were either working for or associated with the former West Virginia State Penitentiary here in Moundsville, West Virginia. We got to be best friends. Dave's mom, Polly Gear, the one that did the Shadow Man picture in the West Virginia State Penitentiary, kind of took us under her wing. We started investigating with her group, Mountaineer Paranormal. And I'd say a couple years after that, we decided to start our own paranormal project called Paranormal Quest. And since then, I had started collecting random items from different cases we had been on, and the collection started growing slowly. And after a visit to Gettysburg, we visited it was a paranormal museum, but it was more geared for people who were already in the field, who already had a kind of a foothold in their belief structure, their views, their theories on the paranormal field. And at this point in my life, I had access to 2 buildings. One had my gym and fitness center in it. The second one had my diner in it. But the diner building had an empty room that was used previously as a poker room by the former owners. And I didn't want to do that. And with that room, I had been trying to figure out, what am I going to do with this room? And after visiting the museum in Gettysburg and realizing I already had a few items that I had collected on different investigations, I decided, well, I can do a complimentary museum for my guests to look through and read while they were waiting for their meals. So it kind of started with that, and that was on Jefferson Avenue. We'll fast forward a little bit. The end of 2016, I'd closed my gym. I was in the process of closing my diner. The buildings we were in were getting to be too much of a money pit, and I was faced with a dilemma. Do I close the museum, or do I find another place to put it? At that point in time, I'd already been on the board of directors at the former Sanford School, now Sanford Community Center, and there was a room available on the second floor. And looking at the numbers, what rent was going to cost me here, as compared to closing the museum, finding a storage facility, it was roughly going to cost me the same amount. So I decided to relocate the museum to the Sanford Center here, still in Moundsville, West Virginia. And since then, since the end of 2016 until present day, we've basically gone from barely being able to fill up one room to almost filling up two classrooms full of haunted items, historical items, and items that pertain to the paranormal field.
A couple things I didn't get from Steve.
Okay.
Do you think that the Sanford Center itself, aside from the museum, is haunted? Does it have energy, spiritual energy, and happenings?
I think so. I think it's more of a residual nature, like all the energy, because this was, I think, 1st through 6th grade, or kindergarten through 6th grade, so you got all that energy from like kids that age, different teachers. Again, Moundsville as a whole, we're on Indian burial ground, like the whole town, so that just sets it off too. So I think a lot of it is residual energy. If it goes into more spiritual energy, it's probably stuff from like the Indians.
Okay, let's add in the archive of the Afterlife. What addition does the museum have to the paranormal phenomena that people would experience and you have experienced?
I think it adds in just all the other energies from the items in there, especially like the electrocution cap. It just adds to everything that's already here in the building, and it magnifies it.
Do you have any particular items that you don't like in the museum?
At first, like with the electrocution cap, it was a little weird because I felt like everyone who was attached to that was trying to get adjusted to being in the museum, and coming from such a tragic and bad thing that was. They had a hard time settling, I guess, but now it feels like everything's kind of on a nice, like, happy medium.
The psychic experiment was strange. I think the room that you had us in was so full of energy and so full of what I felt as negativity that I couldn't. It was just, I didn't pick up anything that you wanted me to pick up.
So what you're saying is it was hard to focus on the object I wanted you to focus on.
Right.
Because of the energy in the room.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you pinpoint the negativity in the room?
No, I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't figured that one out. It's a shadow box.
Do you want to elaborate what a shadow box is?
It's a box where you put, like, things that you want to display.
What do you think's in it?
I want to say something that has to do with baby? But someone over my right shoulder just said baby.
And you think whatever's in a box has something to do with
A baby.
a baby, okay. How does it make you feel? Do you feel anything from it?
It's sad. Makes me want to cry.
Can you tell what caused the sadness?
Dad.
Anything else?
Sadness.
Where's that coming from?
The bear somewhere.
The knocking sound?
Yeah.
Does it sound like it was in the room?
Mm-hmm.
The fuck? What was doing that?
I don't see anything that would make that noise. Like,
I almost thought it was footsteps, but
that's what it sounded like.
and then it sounded like someone knocking on wood. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's weird. Trying to think of what else we can do to try to tap into the energy of what's in there. Do you feel, what type of vibration, do you feel anything from it at all?
Oh, there's a definite vibration from it.
Like, what does it, I mean, does it feel good, neutral, bad?
Like, man, it doesn't make me feel good.
Have you felt anything, does it feel familiar or completely alien to you?
Like, something bad's gonna happen. That's how it makes me feel.
To someone or?
Yeah.
Have you felt anything like it before, or does it feel completely strange?
I felt like something bad was gonna happen before, but not like that.
Okay, rephrase what you just said.
It's like something bad is gonna happen, but not directly to me.
What is that?
I don't know.
Oh, it's fireworks. Right? It sound
One
like,
at a time, 20-second, and
was that fireworks? I couldn't tell with my headphones on.
no.
Is it coming from the room or outside?
I don't know.
Justin was wanting to do a psychic experiment on Missy and I. And it was almost giving me an anxiety because I didn't know what was going to happen, but I couldn't know what was going to happen. And Missy went first, and she came down and she says, go ahead. So I started walking up the stairs, and it was just more anxiety was taking over me. I'm like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? And I remember meeting Justin in the hallway, and I started to get the uneasy feeling, and it was almost like unsure. And it wasn't like unsure as in, well, I don't know what's going to happen, but it was the unsure feelings of what I'm walking into. And I recall walking in, and it was almost like walking into a brick of, and you're just, it was just so heavy and so deep. And I was trying to, figure out which direction I'm going, but it was, I saw the chair, I knew I had to sit there, and I just went there and sat down. But I could still, it was almost like feeling, because there were so many different artifacts and stuff all the way around me, surrounded me. So it was very interesting, because I just wasn't sure which way, things were coming that I was feeling.
Okay, talk about the experiment itself.
The experiment, Justin and Steve has put a something in a box, and it had a cloth over it, and we were, to try to figure out what it was.
For some reason, I just keep getting maybe like child's toy.
If anything comes to you, just
27-year-old male Edwards just keep coming to my mind. I don't know why.
okay. It may or may have something to do with the item. We'll find out.
Yeah, I have no idea.
How does it make you feel?
Very uneasy. Even before you said it, as soon as I started coming down here, just being around it, like, it's just uneasy. I'm just unsure exactly why or the meaning behind it.
Like, there's reason to be cautious, or...
But see, I'm not sure if it's something that I'm picking up here,
right,
or if it's,
right,
I'm unable to pinpoint exactly what's causing my, me being anxious.
All right, well, take a few minutes, see if you can pick up anything else. Obviously, I'm going to reveal to you what is in there and give you some information Steve just gave me and Missy about it, and we'll go from there. Also, I didn't do this with Missy, but I'm going to take you over into the other area.
Okay.
And just tell me what you pick up on, and where we were doing Steve's interview. I want to see if you can get anything from that as well.
I'm getting some kind of neck pain. It feels like it's going through here. Unsure the meaning of that. I just think that this is a lot.
Just being in this room?
Yeah.
Yeah, this room wasn't here last time.
First thing that popped into my head was a baby's toy. And which it wasn't. And so, you know, it was a Bible. And when Steve came in and was explaining the Bible and what kind it was and stuff like that, and I told him what I picked up, what I thought it was, he thought it was interesting because Missy picked up on a baby, and mine was a baby's toy. So Steve found that pretty interesting because where that Bible came from, it was actually from a location with children. Unsure if I don't remember if it was a hospital or something that had to do with a lot of children. And so he found that was pretty interesting. It was almost like we were just reading the energy off of the book of where it previously was.
I'll flat out say where it came from. It came from the Morris Memorial School for Crippled Children down around Huntington, in that area, south West Virginia. Might have been a room number. I'm not sure where he lives. I don't know his address.
She actually picked up she thought it was a child's toy. It had something to do with a child's toy. So I thought that was weird from what Missy said.
Yeah. Maybe because there was like I said in the earlier session, that there was actually an angel figurine sitting on top of it, but his friend took the angel figurine, he took the Bible. But when he did find it again, it was opened.
But that wasn't like a quote-unquote child's toy figurine. It was actually maybe something to decorate
like
a grave
glass
with or something.
figurine or something.
Something.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then again, I don't know the in-depth history of that building. And in some cases involving with what I believe the typical attachment to this one is, in most cases involving that type of energy, they normally use the entity of a little girl. And I'll just flat out say it, in a demonic case, it's not always going to be a 7-foot guy with horns.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
try whoever they want.
They're going to try to use deception. Is what you're saying.
They're going to be anything you've ever wanted or anything that you would feel sorry for, that you would open yourself up to. And back to my hair's moving again. It's interesting. It's like the 4th time tonight. But yeah, I mean, we'll definitely take all the readings that you and Missy from both sessions and definitely cross-reference them.
I've never had them do anything like this before, but I just wanted to try it.
I think it's a good practice. A lot of people, they really don't. They really don't do it. It's just like you get to a location, you run and gun and get it done with. Focusing on intricate individual little items and stuff that are pertaining to certain cases.
And not knowing.
Yeah.
It's just what pops in.
And if another battery dies, I'm going to flip the fuck out.
Now, I have a question for you.
Good.
I have been, I don't know, how long has it been, Justin? I was telling you about what I was picking up here.
What do you mean?
It's been a couple weeks. I have dreams and feelings of there's a clown and there's a little blonde girl that's attached to it. Does that make any sense?
Oh,
Blonde
that's
hair,
a kind of little girl.
Curly hair.
Right there. Here, let's pan on.
This came from Florida. The case in Florida. My friend Terry and Tracy.
I kept seeing a clown, and I'm not scared of clowns. And I wasn't scared of it, but it was just like, what in the world is going on?
That's pretty fucking Pacific.
Yeah. So I saw you guys walked in. She walked in. She sat right down.
Yeah, she didn't look at that once. So that's pretty Pacific. Are those a pair or are those just
Those came together.
Okay, that's really weird.
All I can remember, I have the file. The guy literally kept those in his car. He won't even take them into his house.
So there you go. You picked up on that.
And it goes to show you too, I think sometimes, with these type of experiments, potentially getting a neutral area to empty. This
Yeah. I was thinking about that was the only flaw about this.
But
It
it's
might
a lot.
have.
It's
Yeah.
a lot. Just to walk in, it's a lot. And then there's something else that was happening.
But where is there a fucking neutral area in Moundsville? I mean, technically.
There's
we're
also
sitting on a graveyard for Native Americans.
What did you let's reflect a little bit on your first investigation there. What do you remember? What was the takeaways from that?
The first time we went, it was like, this place is cool, and it's got some kick butt activity going on. You know, we got a heck of a EVP in a stairwell. Had some interesting experiences. Had some interesting equipment. Not really malfunctions, but equipment interactions, especially down by the cafeteria in the hallway. You know, it was a museum with haunted relics, but it really didn't give off the vibe of being, you know, haunted relics that are just crazy haunted. It just kind of gave you the old school vibe. You walk into an old schoolhouse to investigate, and you kind of get the, wow, schoolhouse, and everything's kind of mellow, and then, you know, when the activity kicks up, it kicks up, and then it goes away. And that's kind of what we had there. Was, you know, it was mellow. Everything was calm, cool. There wasn't a whole lot of mess in there.
This last investigation we had at the Sanford Center in the archive of the Afterlife, was it different?
It was 100% different, night and day. Night and day. I solely believe that they expanded to a whole another room. So now and he added some stuff to the original archive. So you've got the original archive with some enhanced artifacts and some new artifacts. Now you've got a whole nother room the same size across the hallway that's got more artifacts crammed into this space. And it is totally different. You walk in, and I mean, it is like being compressed from your head straight down to your feet. It's like walking into a pressure cooker. That's what I felt. I felt like walking into the archive itself. The original building, or the original museum, was like, okay, this is how it was the first time. When I walked across the hall and went into the new area, it was like somebody put me in a pressure cooker and was just turning that puppy up.
Okay. Go. Just take a walk through, Jess, and let me know if you pick up on anything. I know that's kind of a stupid question, but you know, just let me know. Oh! Was that me just hitting that? No, it was not.
Going on?
Yes, sir. I just had a huge spike. Whoa.
What about close to that doll right in front of you on the top shelf?
Just the doll head?
Yeah. That one's actually at the old location, and this location has made two different ladies sick with it.
That's what I was just there and at.
Okay, I'm putting it right up against it, dude. And it's pegged. It's not getting off an EMF, but it's disturbing the rim. Okay, let me pull it away. Let me zero it. Okay. Put it up there again. Nothing. So, dude, the equipment's acting really weird in here. I don't know if that's a false positive or what.
Stand back here. And that doll.
Which doll?
This one right here. Stand back here. And just look at her. And zoom in with her. I was just doing that, and it actually looked like her face was sinking in.
That's not creepy at all.
Yeah, it looked like her face was sinking. Like crushing. Like crushing back.
I just went through here and made sure I had a baseline of zeros everywhere. There's coarse magnetic fields coming off the fan and that record player.
Justin and I started going into the museum, and you know, between talking with Steve Hummel, he was in there, and going through, so we're having some of our equipment, and all of a sudden, you know, you're hearing the beep, 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 and I recall Justin's having it pointed towards my back, so I'm trying not to move. I'm thinking, you know, something was behind me, then all of a sudden it stopped. So then we started, you know, laying things out on a table, and I recall Justin walking past an item, and he says, you know, he's like, oh, the energy, I can feel it. You know, so he asked me if I was able to feel it. And so I walked up and I had my hand out and I started, you know, kind of away from where it was, and I started bringing my hand in, and it was almost like it was resisting. Like I could feel it, like kind of, you know, pushing my hand away.
We've had something draining our batteries. We want to know if it's something in this room that can hear me talk. I have a device here. Can you drain the batteries in that?
I see it. I see your, yeah.
No, this.
Your hair's sticking out, right?
Right here.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Hey Steve,
Yeah.
is there something on this table in front of your soil samples that should be giving off a lot of weird shit?
Not really. It's just that Hans Holzer book. But,
Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's all it is. I mean, it was given to me, and it wasn't necessarily given as a haunted item.
Right.
That's just Halloween prop skeleton on it.
Okay, that was weird, because you know how I started out here?
Would it be something from the dirt that just happens to be right
And
there?
it was like it stopped me. It's like, and then it's pushing, resisting my hands.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not forcing it, you
Yeah,
know?
there's a pressure.
Yeah.
Like it was pressing against, like, does it have an energy?
Holy cow.
Does
It's
it
like
have a-
almost like making my hand vibrate.
Okay, I'm not crazy then.
Holy shit.
Here.
Oh,
What is that?
holy cow. Like, no. It starts back here.
There's absolutely, I tried to put a meter on it. There's no reading at all.
I mean, you can start feeling almost like electricity.
Yeah,
It's like almost shocking you.
yeah. Yeah.
I've never felt it that strong. Never.
Do you think it's the book? Because this plastic props.
Yeah, there's nothing. I didn't put anything too valuable.
It's below the soil samples. It's right. It's coming right for where that book is.
The
Yeah,
skeleton
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, that's just.
You want to?
Initially, was just decor.
I was
pretty
thinking
much.
about it. I don't know why it would be giving off energy. So your idea is to move these props to see if.
One by one.
Okay, tell me if that changed anything.
It's like almost my hand is still like. No, it's still there.
Okay.
This is when like Josh and Derek should be
you know, Missy, I think she can do energy, can't she?
Anything from that?
No.
Okay.
Put your hand out. Touch it.
This is fucking weird. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Oh, it's this book. It's this fucking book.
As soon as you brought it up, that went straight to my
This
face.
is fucking book, dude. Oh my fucking god. As soon as I pulled it up out of there, it shocked the shit out of my whole body.
When you brought it up, it went, I got that sensation right in my right cheek.
That book was given to me by Polly Gear. She gave me a bunch of her old books. I don't know where she got it from.
Runner. Remember that one? They're always like that. That's right. I don't know if I want to hold it.
Try it.
This is the first time that's ever happened.
It's not really.
There ain't nothing there no more. Feel it. I think I just pulled everything
Pull
off
out.
of there. You feel anything?
No, I don't feel anything. And yeah, you must have, because I don't feel anything.
Soon as I pulled that book off, it felt like I just got
What's with the
electrocuted.
legs? I just went and got like this. Oh.
Yeah, it's been happening the
Oh
whole
my
time.
God.
I don't know. I don't fucking know.
So then we were trying to figure out what it was. There was a lot of tiny little things that really had no significant. It was just kind of like decoration, like a skeleton, a skull, a thing for Halloween. And so we started taking that back, and I remember Justin picked up this book, and he had this. He bent down, picked it up, and he was like, "This is it," and he brought it up. And I was standing next to him, and when he brought it up, I felt it almost like brush up against me. I mean, the energy off the book, which it was a little bit away from me. And I recall him saying, it's like almost like he got shocked from how much energy this book had. So it was pretty interesting, was of just feeling that energy of, and then, trying to fight the resistance. I mean, which you could, but it was very awesome, really.
Just got a really strange hair-raising sensation and skin tightening right there on my elbow and forearm.
Really?
Yeah. That
Nice.
was really fucking strange.
Like a touch or something? Or?
No. It just felt like, you know how you get the chills and the goosebumps?
It
was
pulls
just,
it up like it's...
but it was pulling my skin with it, and it was just really tingling weird. But I don't want to get that. I just thought I'd give
That's
notice that.
interesting.
That was definitely weird. Okay. Was Annie your first experience with something that you had come across in your quest to collect items? Was that the first thing you really got a connection with as far as a spirit connecting with the stuff in your museum?
If there ever was before her, the connection she and I have made and continue to have throughout the time that I've had her in my life, I don't remember, because ever since the first time I'd seen her, at that time I just looked at it as a portrait, now I look at it as a conduit. She's probably the strongest connection I've ever had with an item. So.
Do you have any idea why? Fate? Or anything outside of that?
If there is fate, then I guess. I believe you make your own fate. And where you plan for your own fate, but you have to rely on the element of chance if you get to live to see it. I think she knew that I noticed her, and I think that she knew that I would do everything in my power or mental capabilities, physical capabilities to learn more about her and to help bring her peace. Because originally, when I first saw the picture and even after I brought the conduit to the museum, there was a sense of panic, depression, just unrest, if you will. And once, it took almost 2 years, once we, through research, once we were able to find out, where she was buried, and just simply take up a grave spray. It was like 5 days before Christmas. Ever since that point, she's been calm. And I think that's what she needed, and I think that's what a lot of the entities that are connected to the items I have and other people who collect have. A lot of them, they more than likely, I feel, are older spirits that no longer have family that even know about them, let alone come to visit them at a cemetery or visit their, the item that they're connected to. So I mean, if it works out that way after we die and we have, emotion and different things like that, why wouldn't someone be lonely if no one comes to visit them anymore? People that, that they held close in their lifetime, people that they confided in, and different things like that. So, and I think that's why a lot of people, when you go to cemeteries, that sometimes it feels charged. You feel sadness, because a lot of that, I feel, is not necessarily from people who go there to mourn, which some of it probably is from that, but a lot of it's from people that...
Hold on there. I lost your audio from your lavalier. Did the power go off?
Well, I felt like I got pinched. But it wasn't like a
Did the
pinch.
display turn off?
This just died.
You gotta be kidding me.
It just died.
Okay, that's brand new lithium-ion batteries.
Yep.
We'll keep rolling. Dude, there's...
Yeah, but at least that one definitely documented it. 'Cause that's still rolling, that camera.
Oh, yeah, this is rolling too.
Cool. Oh.
Yeah,
yeah, these just freaking died.
Let me double check.
I held it in, the light came on, said the title screen. And
Dude, I'm starting to feel really, like, weird sensations touching me, dude. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it felt like something...
Still. Yeah.
Like just...
Dead as a doornail.
And those are brand new.
Yeah.
It was weird because, everybody was getting touched, especially on their legs and stuff like that, but, I smelled a couple things. I was having equipment issues out the wazoo. Microphones weren't working. Wireless mics were having interference that I couldn't figure out. Batteries were being drained left and right. Put brand new batteries in, they'd run for 10 seconds and be drained again. Memory cards acting up, cameras acting up. I mean, it was really weird because we've never had that much trouble with equipment right out of the gate.
Okay, you mentioned, did you feel like you were being touched? Did you feel energy physically on your body?
I don't remember feeling that. I know everybody else was, and I was sitting in the same room at one time that everybody else had that experience in. I do not remember ever being touched, especially around my ankles and on my leg or my back or anything like that. But everybody else seemed to have the experience of something was trying to get to them by touching their ankles or their legs. And I don't remember being touched at all.
Okay, but you did feel drained.
Oh yeah, it was like you walked in there, you were ready to go, and within 5 minutes it was like, yeah, I'm ready to go home and go to bed. I mean, even Josh, I've never seen him that bad before. He's normally gung-ho, ready to go all night long. Let's take a break here and there. And this time he was leaning up against walls. He was like, I can't do this. I gotta take this off. I'm done filming. And at one point he was like, look, I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of the building. And we told him, said, hey, if you feel you need to get out and get some air, go outside and get some air. Don't let this drag on. He's like, if I walk out, I'm not coming back in. And he's never said he wouldn't come back in. So something's definitely changed, and not in a good way, to where it's affecting people to where they do not want to be anywhere in there for a long period of time.
Well, guys, Do you want one? The only our wireless mics, it's just me and Missy, and then you guys are all four on one recorder. So we'll have to go 4 and 2.
Josh, you okay?
He's trying to get the focus of me.
No, I'm not okay. I'm gonna fall over here pretty soon.
So we can all go together, or we can all go 4 and 2.
Whatever, I just wanna finish up.
Do I?
I can't go much further. I have no idea. None. I could fall over standing there.
I don't want to see that.
And what you probably should do is quit. If you can't, if you don't feel good, I would do anything. It's not worth it. You can decide if you want to sit down and start, packing up your stuff or trying to do something. It's up to you. But I was asked to come here to do something, so I'm gonna try to do something.
Well, something I'm not trying.
Right, yeah. If you feel bad, maybe you just can't do it. That's what I see it. What you could do is just put down all your recording equipment and just let Joe record you guys. Maybe that might be a little easier.
I'll go a little bit longer.
Okay, do you want to do anything in the museum or?
Well, we were in there, I mean, I felt like I got touched, but at this point, I can't tell if it's something or if it's just.
I think it's something because I felt like I got touched. Everybody's been touched, I think, but Missy.
I haven't been touched.
Derek hasn't been touched yet. Someone's been draining their batteries and messing with their cameras. There's weird, funky energy in there in the museum.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what have you been feeling in there?
And there, my heart is just, when I go in there, my heart rate just spikes like a mile a minute. My heart feels like it's gonna beat out of my chest.
So, you feel normal?
And I feel nauseous and not beautiful.
Well, if we just sit in the museum, then he can sit down.
Is that what you want to do, Josh?
Well, I don't matter to me. We went around the first floor twice.
Last time we were here, man, we just waited until something happened. I mean, that's all we been there. Best thing is doing.
Oh,
Come on, man. We sit down in the museum.
Yeah. I'll let you sit down for a little bit.
I just sat down. I didn't do anything.
What do you want to do?
I don't know.
What was the first thing you remember experiencing? Was it when you were getting touched?
No, the first experience I had there this second time around was bringing things up to the museum to give to Steve, which were some bricks that I had collected from haunted locations to donate to his museum, and show him a couple things that I had brought with me. And walking into the main part where his desk is and everything, felt normal. Everything was fine. it was when I walked across the hall into the other part of the other room of his museum. As soon as I walked in, it was a very different smell, and it kind of hit me in the like the back of my throat, like it started feeling scratchy, and it was kind of like a musty smell, but it was something. There was something more to it. It was just weird. The thing that sticks out the most is when we were setting up. Joe and Derek and myself were trying to get the wireless mics set up. We needed 4 because Missy was going to join us, and 2 of them were new, so we were setting those up as well. And I remember Derek having a lot of feedback issues and trying to change settings and trying different things, and just it was getting frustrating. It was, everything we tried wasn't working, and after a while I remember going back over to pick up one of the mics to try something else, and I just got dizzy all of a sudden. Just not necessarily wanting to fall over or fall down, but I just had a dizzy spell, and it wasn't going away. So I just kind of knelt down on one knee just to kind of collect myself, and after a minute or so, I was able to stand back up and felt okay.
Didn't look okay to me, man.
Well, I felt I wasn't dizzy after I stood back up, but after that, you're right as far as feeling well enough to continue. I was okay. And after that, we started filming, and I was kind of in a bad mood. My mood had changed. Normally I'm excited to be there. I'm excited to be filming and spending time with everybody and having a good time investigating, and I just kept getting it was kind of moody. I was just kind of frustrated with things. I remember we were about done, and I remember being upstairs, and we were going to go down the hallway, and I just remember looking at everybody and said, I don't even want to be here. I didn't want to be there. I was ready to pack up and get out. And that's not me either. Normally I'm, ready to, even though we're getting tired, we're still ready to, do one more session or film one last thing before we clean up, and then we clean it, we tear down, we clean up, and we leave. But this particular time, I just felt like I needed to go. I didn't want to be there.
Any thoughts after investigation? How did you feel after it? Were you fine? Did it affect you at all?
After the investigation, I feel it drains me, and I knew it drains others as well. And I think when we would go off by ourselves, and Josh had issues with being there, and I think after I knew that he was having some draining issues, and he was just exerted. I mean, he was done, and I felt like I almost had to block myself, because I was worried about him and making sure if it was medical, if it was something else, of what was going on with him. And but I knew it was draining, very draining, and just sitting up in the museum and stuff, and you would feel fine, all of a sudden it was just like a rush of just, you know, something sucking your energy out.
It took a while to get my own energy back up to where, you know, it was manageable to function. I mean, it was that was some of the worst that I've had in a long time. You know, it was a couple days to where it was like, yeah, I don't want to do nothing. Because if I remember right, that week we came back, I went back to work, and like Tuesday or Wednesday I had to take off because I got up to go to work and I was like, yeah, I can't function. I couldn't even walk. I was so tired. And it was like, yeah, we can't do this today. No driving down the interstate at 5 o'clock in the morning like that. And then after that, you know, I started feeling gradually better. But it's like it sucked everything you had out of you, and it took forever to get it built back up.
The archive is a cool place. The energy is sometimes weird. The fact that it used to be a school is, I think schools are cool anyway, because they hold all of that energy, whether it's residual or, you know, actually in your face there. And I feel like if it's a child, they're going to suck your energy because that's what they do.
Did you feel drained?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
I was definitely drained.
Let's talk about, you know, the aftermath. That's what we're talking
The
about.
aftermath.
Yeah.
For at least a week afterwards, I was drained. I was depressed. I didn't want to get up off the couch. I had to force myself to do the things that need done every day.
Do you think it was just because of the residual energy, or do you think it was because of some entity doing that to you?
I think it was the residual energy, because I've talked to a few people since then that hang out at the archive, and they've experienced the same thing.